Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For a second, this video we'll be discussing the 1990 film Goodfellas, starring Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Paul Sorvino, and Lorraine Bracco. I almost forgot her name for a second. Of course, this movie is because it's the 30th anniversary, since we're now in 2020. This movie is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. And of course, this movie has. There are a couple of debates that goes on with particularly with Goodfellas, that should this movie have won the Oscar instead of Dances with Wolves. I would say this: Dances with Wolves was the better movie, and also the other debate is this as good a movie as, let's say, the other famous monster films, which is of course the Godfather series. Well, I can tell you, the Godfather movies is, and I would say, is more iconic than Goodfellas is. And of course, going into the movie, the plot of the movie is the fact that it's based on a true story of Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta, who from 15 years old to during his adult, in the about late 70s, early 80s, was working for the mafia. And of course, he planned the Lorenza heist. Now, of course, those of you who don't know what that is, but I think it was like around 1980, there was a heist at the LaGuardia Airport. Not LaGuardia Airport, JFK Airport, Kennedy Airport in New York City. Actually in Queens, on the southern end of Queens. Queens, New York, actually. They had this mafia, this particular group of gangsters stole about $2 million in Lorenza Airlines that came into Kennedy Airport. And Ray Liotta's character was the one who set the whole thing up. But fortunately, there's one slight problem. In the movie, they didn't actually physically show the robbery. I mean, hello. I mean that's what this whole movie Goodfellas is actually based on. Not only Henry Hill's life, but the Lorenzo heist. You would like to actually physically see it. You don't say, if they actually did show it, if they had showed the Lorenzo heist, instead of a scene where Ray Liotta listening to the radio and they had a news broadcast talking about the heist, and the gangsters divvying up the money from the heist. That's all they show. They didn't show what happened, and they didn't show the actual heist itself, which would have been cool, and how the gangsters all got away at the time. And then eventually, of course, some of them got bumped off, not from the cops, but from the other gangsters in the gang, because they did something stupid. Because he did something stupid. Like one guy who was the driver was played by Sam Jackson, by the way, in one of his early roles. He left he didn't, let's say, get rid of the van. He kept the van, and he dumped the van somewhere, and the cops actually found the van. Instead of blowing it up or throwing it into the river or something like that, he had it for a while, and he parked it someplace where he wasn't supposed to park it. He got caught, so he was about to get caught, and they bumped him off. And there was another guy who also got bumped off because he also did something stupid, because he was buying money, buying stuff with his share of the robbery, so he got bumped off. So you saw the people getting bumped off, but you didn't actually see the actual heist, and that, of course, that's the problem of the movie. Of course, that's probably why, because they didn't actually show the heist, that's probably what cost this movie not doing the Oscar for Best Picture, because the movie's supposed to be about the heist. All they showed was really how Henry Hill got into the mob, how the mob, particularly in Queens, worked, how they handled things in certain situations and stuff like that. And it's like they can only do like so much about it, and then you had, talk about planning the Lorenzo heist. They show that, and then they show the planning stages for it, and show some scenes where how the guys could get into the airport to steal the stuff that's off the plane and smuggle stuff in and stuff like that. But you didn't actually see the heist, and I know I'm repeating myself, but it would have been good. Of course, this movie is famous for the hairstyles in the movie, how all the actors spoke in this film, like typical Italian gangsters, and like over the top stuff for the Italian accents and stuff, and of course for Joe Pesci's performance. The one might clown to you, one might funny you, one might amuse you, and the way he every other word out of his mouth was he's constantly dropping F-bombs. Every other word out of his mouth was an F-bomb. And of course, there was at the time was doing the Lethal Weapon. We already got cast in the Lethal Weapon movies from at that point. He already just starred his first Lethal Weapon film, which was came out the year before, Lethal Weapon 2, and so he's famous for saying the F word in his movies. Of course, a couple years later, it was in My Cousin Vinny, and this was the role that won Joe Pesci his Best Supporting Actor Oscar. And he had like the shortest acceptance speech of anybody winning an Oscar. He only had 2 words: "Thank you," and that's it. But the movie itself, it is kind of long. It does drag, especially in the second half of the film, especially after the Lorenzo heist. They kind of like rush through the Lorenzo heist, like I said. They didn't even show it, and then you start seeing people getting pumped up, and you even see Joe Pesci getting killed, or his character getting killed in this movie. It was pretty graphic stuff for those of you who never saw this movie before. It's even just as graphic, or even more graphic than The Godfather is. Because don't forget, it's Martin Scorsese, and he was pretty graphic with his violence with the violence in his movies. And of course, you can't have a Martin Scorsese movie without having Robert De Niro in it. That's why every movie that Martin Scorsese's director has Robert De Niro in it, and he has a real small role in this thing. And I don't know why that is, but it's a very small role. He plays like the mentor to Ray Liotta's character, Henry Hill. Of course, after the heist and everybody was getting killed, De Niro's character says to him, look, it is back, we're going to separate our relationship right now for a few years. And he never spoke to the 2 characters, Henry Hill and De Niro's character, Jimmy, never spoke together again. And that's when Ray Liotta's character was like scared silly every time you do a video, was scared silly of what's going to happen to him. So he decides to turn traitor and go into the witness protection program until the feds what happened. And he was still, by the time when the movie was made, came out in 1990, the movie, he was still in witness protection for like 25 years or 20 years, something like that. And it's hard to believe that he was in the witness protection program for such a long time. I think he still is in witness protection to this day. And so, and then of course there were, the anniversary of the Lorenzo heist that they had a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, like 25, when somebody I think died who played the Lorenzo heist or something. They brought up Goodfellas because they mentioned it in the movie. Yeah, but like I said at the beginning, you didn't actually physically see what happened. Okay, it would have been better. Of course, this movie, I'm not saying it's not a bad movie, but I'm saying it could have been better if they had the Lorenzo physically seen the Lorenzo heist in this movie. It would have been better. Well, maybe Scorsese couldn't get permits to film in the airport or something. That's probably the reason why, because the heist happened at Kennedy Airport, and it is an international airport. Of course, you don't have the security then that you have, or at the time the movie's based in, that you have today. But still, remember, they showed it. Of course, the big debate is that Dances with Wolves beat out Goodfellas for Best Picture, and people were outraged that this movie did not win for Best Picture, that Goodfellas did not win for Best Picture, and said, hey, if you want, after watching Goodfellas just recently, and remember watching Dances with Wolves, which I have the movie on old VHS, which was the better movie? Dances with Wolves is the better movie over this thing. I mean, Dances with Wolves definitely deserved the Oscar. And it wasn't like one of those crazy, upset deals, like Gandhi being out E.T. or something, or Olgo being out Zero Dark 30. Those were the bigger outrages than Goodfellas not winning. Of course, eventually, Scorsese has his Oscar for the Departed. So, even though it's like 16 years later or something, which clearly should have gotten it for Goodfellas. Get the Oscar to beat out Kevin Costner, but Kevin Costner got it for Best Director for Dances with Wolves. But this movie is, it is what it is, but if we're a good monster movie, I think it's The Godfather's more stylized, and Goodfellas is like down and dirty guys who actually go out on the streets and not the mafia, top-notch, not mafia guys that you had in The Godfather. So that's my review of the movie Goodfellas. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com, that's OWDY, and that's c.com, that's the homepage. You can review of Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.